Laddies, how you doing, everybody? This is me, Waddles. Or should I say,
The breeze.
so it was just a mere few days ago that Minecraft 1.21 was first revealed to us, in part, over at Minecraft Live 2023. To be honest, just from the small bit of information that we got and the footage that we saw at Minecraft Live this year, I think it might be safe to already say that 1.21 is going to be one of the biggest farming updates of all time. During Minecraft Live, we got a whole handful of information. But what if I told you there was more? You see, the devs over at Mojang HQ were kind of warm enough to answer some questions from creators. Like you and me. Maybe you. I don't know. Anyways, the devs answered some questions, and it's my duty to share the information with you. And delete that like button for me real quick down below this video. And what are you most excited for? You let me know down below. Let's go. Also, after that initial video, I sent you lads on a detective search, and you did not disappoint. We're going to take a look at some secrets from Minecraft Live 2. The Breeze. Oh my god, I love that name. It's so fire. We kind of almost like wrapped things up with the Breeze when we talked about it in this video right here. So today, let's kick it off with this thing. When it comes to this mob, we know it's a brand new hostile mob, not a boss, that'll spawn inside of this trial chamber structure. From the live show, we also learned that its main attack, the wind charge attack, has this knockback effect to players nearby wherever it hits. If the wind charge hits you directly, it'll actually like damage you. We also learned that the wind charge interacts with things in the environment around it. So a copper trap door, if the charge hits near it, the trap door is all of a sudden, boom, open. I assume same for doors and actually levers too. It worked. Basically, the only extra bit of information that we have on the Breeze right now that we didn't get from Minecraft Live is the fact that it might actually end up having a unique drop. According to the devs themselves, this is not confirmed yet, but they are considering the idea. And I definitely think that should be the case. I've seen a lot of people compare the Breeze kind of to like the Blaze. Aesthetically, it's relatively similar and everything. And can you imagine the world where like you take the Blaze out and instead of a cool Blaze rod drop, you just get like rotten flesh or a piece of netherrack or something. 100 trillion, 1000% to finish off the Breeze and make it fully breezy and cool. It needs its own custom drop. But what could it be? Well, unfortunately for that one, we're gonna have to leave it hanging for now. Let's move on to the trial chamber. The trial chamber was like the major focus of this year's Minecraft Live. Basically, the entire time they were showing off the 1.21 update, they were inside of this brand new, beautiful, giant, big maze structure. The trial chamber is going to be a brand new structure added to the game in this next update. Now check this, from this intro shot right here, Agnes walks in, and in the background we can see Deep Slate. That makes me think that this structure is going to be another structure that generates down in the depths. Now, we actually did get quite a bit of information on the trial chamber from the Minecraft Live livestream. Probably because they were spending so much time inside of it. From the blocks all around us to how it procedurally generates, it's going to be a big and advanced structure. When it comes to the rarity of the structure, we've also learned that it's right now a relatively common structure. It's not going to be the hardest thing to find in the world. When it comes to where you'll be able to find this structure, it's 100% under the ground, all the way. Kind of like a mineshaft or a stronghold. And we also know that the trial chamber structure is a structure that can generate in any Minecraft biome. Lush caves, dripstone caves, plains biome, whatever. It doesn't matter. This thing can exist. It makes me wonder what happens if this accidentally like merges with the deep dark biome and there's skulk all over it too. Imagine the challenge there. That could be so cool. Now the structure itself, and basically the dev's own words, this is going to be a large procedurally generated structure. But of course, this is Minecraft. You know how things go. According to the developers, because of how the generation works, sometimes the structure might be a little bit smaller, consisting of only a few rooms and a corridor. Other times, the structure could get pretty sprawling, with like tons and tons of rooms, and a big corridor too. And based off of some of the devs' wording here, it seems like the corridor is a consistent thing. I believe this room right here with like the big hallway, the grand view and everything, that's the corridor, the center room. Another interesting thing you might have caught real quick here in some of the shots, if you pay close attention, is the things all over this structure. Check this out, right there, up there in the top corner. You can see a decorated pot and candles sitting in the ground. I love it. Then also check it, even more candles and some pots sitting around it. Oh, wait. Hey, hold on, even more pots right there. Combine the fact that we're seeing pots all over this structure with what literally just happened inside of snapshots where loot can be inside of the pots and oh, the sneaky devs, it was a setup all along. Decorated pots with presumably loot inside of them, inside of this structure. Oh, that's so cool. So the trial chamber, a big structure. Can't wait to find this thing. I'm so excited for this. This might be my #1 thing. I don't know. There's a close second though, or like a tie even going on. Anyways, inside of the trial chambers, you'll be able to find these things called trial spawners. These trial spawners are a little bit different than the normal spawners. You see, of course, how we know it works right now is the normal classic spawner. It'll basically just continuously spawn mobs all the way until forever, as long as other mobs aren't too close to it. The trial spawner is going to be a little bit different. As it was described in Minecraft Live, when you approach the trial spawner, basically a trial will begin. Mobs will pop out of the spawner, except this time, it's a set amount of mobs. When the trial begins, we'll know it begins from particles popping out of the spawner. When the particles pop out, that basically signifies how difficult it's going to be, essentially. Now let's say we had one player taking on this trial spawner, it's just me. Then all of a sudden, my boy Steve jumps into the realm and swings over to the trial spawner as well. If Steve walked over to the spawner, got close enough to it for it to know that Steve is nearby, then boom, more particles would pop out of the spawner and the difficulty level of the trial would go up. So the trial, the difficulty, it basically adjusts based on how many players are taking it on. It could be one player, it could be, well, right now there's not really an upper limit. You could have 40 players taking this thing on and it just all scales up, apparently. Now, at 40 players taking on the trial spawner, as you could probably imagine, maybe that might lag the game out a little bit, so that could be a big problem. So the devs are considering maybe like an upper limit or a curve or something like that, but they're waiting for us, the community, to test it out, to figure it out for sure. Quick question. What happens with the normal spawner when you walk up to it and say, you just get a little bit of explosives involved? Now, those of you more experienced may know that the spawner unfortunately blows up and it's gone forever. And that's that for spiders inside of the mine shaft. That was such a cool spawner. I shouldn't have done that. According to the developers, we know that the trial spawner is going to work completely differently. The trial spawner is going to be 100% immune to explosions, which means you could light it up with TNT, maybe even rig it up, like set yourself up for success in this battle, and the explosions don't matter at all. This spawner will not be able to be blown up. According to the devs, this new spawner is also going to be similar to reinforced deep slate in the fact that, you can technically mine this thing, but it's just going to mine really, really slow. So you can remove a trial spawner from your world if it's, in the way you want to do a build or something, but, maybe it's better to just leave the trial spawner alone. I think that's such a cool idea, like a spawner that just doesn't blow up, so you can take it on over and over again, and also just something that is, in the world, and you can remove it if you want, but it's just gonna, take a really, really long time. Whatever's going on with this block, though. But let's go back to some of the more basic things with the spawner. When it comes to the range of the trial spawner, the devs are still working on it. They don't know what the detection or activation range is going to be. I don't really want to speculate too much inside of this video, but maybe it'll be the same as the spawner, or I could even see them making it be a little bit closer to the spawner, so the trial doesn't accidentally start when you're the room above or maybe the room below or something. Let's say each player head represents how many players are taking on the trial thing. So it starts with one player, then a second one joins in. That means the spawner is going to bump up in difficulty. Let's say after that, the second player, it doesn't like it and leaves. Well, unfortunately, the difficulty does not go down. Once a trial has begun, it's set at however many mobs it's going to spawn. The difficulty for these trials, they can go up. So, more players can join in and more mobs will spawn, but it won't, take mobs away. So if everybody else leaves except you, you're going to be left trying to take on this trial on your own. The good thing is, the spawner spits out loot based on how many players were taking it on. So if it's just you in the end and everybody else left, this thing is going to spit out loot 5 times for all 5 players that joined in, but you could just take it all. We also have confirmed that unfortunately, difficulty of this trial, it's not really going to change with the game difficulty. Of course, I guess with peaceful, it's probably just not going to work, but then easy, normal, hard, that doesn't change. How do you feel about that? Do you think it maybe should get a little bit more difficult with the difficulties or not? And finally, the trial spawner, it is customizable in creative mode too. If you have access to NVT tags, commands, things like that, you'll be able to take this new trial spawner and set it to maybe spawn 7 pandas. Maybe have no delay at all and just keep spawning. The block is apparently going to be nearly fully customizable, which will be cool. Now next up, briefly, I would like to move on to the copper bulb. Now when we talk about your detective work and sleuthing, we'll talk a little bit more about the copper bulb, so just keep it in mind, but the wonderful copper bulb. We know that this thing will generate all over this structure. You'll be able to walk into it and find it. It'll be pretty cool. Sometimes they were lit up, but sometimes they were fully dark, and you gotta light it up yourself. We also know that when we craft this copper ball, it's going to be off by default. To turn it on, you need redstone. So check this out, redstone lamp, iron trapdoor. If we go ahead and power the redstone lamp, it turns on. Same thing with this trapdoor right there. However, if I go ahead and remove the power source on both of these things, they reset. They go back to where it started. The lamp is off, the trapdoor is closed. We know that this copper bulb is going to be different. If this were a copper bulb, I could pulse it with a signal, and then it would stay on, and then it's on state. And based off of what we saw with the breeze, I assume it's going to be the same thing for the copper trapdoor, and presumably doors as well. Let me say that again, maybe you didn't catch it. The significance here is massive. We pulse this once, and it holds its state. It stays on forever. Let's say that's not there. It's just, I pulsed it, and it's staying on. That's a 1-block T flip-flop. That's a 1-block redstone T flip-flop. Oh. It's also planned to have comparators be able to read this block as well. Whew, I guess this is the redstone update of our dreams. Next stop is over to the developer's beautiful little village here to talk about one of the most fascinating parts of Minecraft 1.21. The crafter, the automatic crafting station. Oh boy, this thing is going to be fascinating. The implications here are huge. You can hook this up to any farm, maybe your iron farm, and automatically condense all of your iron, like ingots, down into solid blocks. Send it over to a chest and boom, it's like automatically compact, and that's just one use. This crafter is going to revolutionize, I think, like a whole lot inside of this game. This is going to be huge. Now in this advanced section where the devs were showing off all this complex redstone wiring with the crafter, we know that this thing is going to have a lot of layers to it. Like you can lock slots and everything is pretty cool. You could also take hoppers and string crafters together. So you could say like, maybe take the bamboo, condense it into planks, then take those planks and turn it into bamboo doors with a couple crafters, multi-stages. The crafter is also a brand new block that does not need any fuel at all. It just needs redstone power. When you provide a little bit of power to the crafter, it'll craft. Currently, the crafter can craft anything inside of Minecraft. If you can craft it inside of a crafting table, well, our good friend, the new one, the crafter, will be able to do that too. And finally, last but not least here, the crafter. Currently, it doesn't have a recipe book hooked up to it, but the devs are considering it based on community feedback. It looks like for a lot of these things with 1.20 that they were showing off, they're waiting for us to get into the mix here and like test the stuff in game, give a little bit of feedback, and then they're gonna polish it up. So that'd be cool. Now next up, when I dropped this video right here, I sent you guys on a little bit of a mission. I said for any secrets one could find inside of Minecraft Live, there was a cookie on the table. I want to send a huge shout out to all of you over on r/waddles for submitting stuff, because this was fascinating to look at, and there's definitely stuff that I kind of missed here. If you take a look at this image right here, this was inside of like the town. That's the copper bulb, but it's unlit. This right here, this is a masterpiece. It's beautiful. It's not necessarily like anything from Minecraft Live or nothing like that, but whew, that makes the breeze look so good. This was another fire banger one right here. I completely missed this when I saw Minecraft Live until I saw this post. Right there, there's a spawner, and around it, it looks like slime blocks or moss blocks. I can't really tell, but we know for sure that slime are popping out of the spawner. We knew already, based off of what King B-Dog said to Agnes when they walked up to the stray spawner, that there's ice, it means it's a stray. But oh boy, we're gonna get slime spawners inside of this thing too. Even if it's like a short, temporary, like slime spawning thing, that's still a spawner with slime. That's so nice. There was this blue crystal post right here, which is really, really interesting and a nice catch, but I would assume that it just looks like the amethyst crystal thing. And this shot right here, oh, is beautiful. The wall is all over the place. They didn't really say specifically what it is, but it's gotta be Polish. Tough wall block. Ah, that looks like such a clean wall. I love that. I can't wait to have that. Old friend, old dusty, old rusty, oxidized friend, the copper golem. The copper golem, the tough golem. It almost seems like these two mobs would be perfect for this brand new structure, don't it? And in fact, that is so sad, but unfortunately true, at least for now. The devs have confirmed that there are no plans currently to add the tough golem or the copper golem into the new structure. But I really hope they change their mind on that one, because that would be perfect, at least one of them. Also, I really feel like this is a great PR opportunity with that whole mob vote petition that was going around to show the people, like, hey, look, literally, we're doing it in this update. Here's one of the mobs. You can stop it now. So out of all of the Minecraft Live things that were shown off for 1.21, what are you most excited for? If you haven't yet, tell me all about it down below, and also down below, tap that like button for me real quick and subscribe. It helps me and the channel out huge time, more than you'll ever know. Patron gang, big shout out and thank you. Fire Dragon 19, Empress MC, The Great Vegeta, Michael H, and Skelly Wampus, you're the best. If you haven't checked out my video on all of the Minecraft Live announcements, check that out next. You'll get even more info on this next beautiful update. Goodbye, everyone.